Greetings, my name is Blaze. I am a star creator in Marvel Future Fight, which means, because I like to talk about the game and stream it, and as well as do videos, the Marvel Future Fight team actually gives me crystals every month, so yay, extra bonus. Well, with that, I figured I'll do more than just stream. I will start making videos, so this is going to be my World Boss series. So if you're new, let me explain to you how World Boss works. If you are not new, then this might be kind of a boring video for you. But anyway, you have this little enter button here, so if you press on your enter button, it is going to take you to this little section where you have little spots at the top, missions, challenges, under challenges. You have a section called World Boss. Now, in World Boss, you have different modes. You have both Ultimate and Legend. You can see in the top right-hand corner here, Ultimate and Legend. The Ultimate bosses are your starter bosses that are pretty much where everyone's going to start out. After some time, you eventually can get to the legendary bosses. And there are two different types of World Boss Legendary. Sometimes you'll see this shortened to WBL. The World Boss Legendaries can be normal World Bosses, or they can be World Boss Pluses. The World Boss Pluses are more difficult. The rewards are better. So obviously the ultimate goal is to go from Ultimate to Legendary. Now, when you are clearing these, there's a couple options you have down here. So the first thing you see, it says missions 5 of 5. That means you can get 5 rewards per day. If you get a reward, ticks down each day it resets. So definitely get your 5 rewards at the bare minimum. The other thing is the training mode. If you want to do the training mode to kind of practice and try out different teams to try to push further and see if you can find or come up with a strategy to help clear these bosses. This boss section is constantly changing. They're making new bosses, strategies are evolving, new characters are coming out, so it's constantly changing. So for some of us, we're able to clear like level 100 bosses, no problem, and other people are struggling on 1, so that's why I figured I would do this series. When you're going through this, start with the bosses you can do, and always try to push it a little bit further. When you do your 5 clears, they've added a new feature that didn't used to be there, so if you're a returning player, or you just weren't aware of it, when you do your 5 clears, you can still push your boss's level. You have to clear the boss's level until you hit a certain point that in order to advance past that certain point, you have to do missions and quests to unlock it. I can't remember which ones I have at the highest. So obviously, you know, you're clicking through all these levels, you go up as high as you can. There's requirements as you go up levels. Level 0 through 9 is going to give you rewards that are pretty much flat, but there's no restrictions. Your rewards increase as you go, and every time you do your first clear, you get a special reward that is a one-time clear for that boss level. Eventually, you hit these points where it's locked for challenges. So if you hit this unlocked challenges, you'll see what you have to do to clear it. During certain discount periods, it is half off to pay crystals to bypass. Sometimes you'll notice on some of these bosses, some of the requirements are for characters you might not own, nor do you want to own. It could be a uniform requirement, it could be a character requirement, they could be a paywall character. It's different for each boss. But you have to clear with that character, like here it's Professor X. You have to clear 5 times with Professor X. So if you don't have Professor X, you're not going to be able to do this challenge. Or if you're struggling because your account's really difficult, right? Might be very difficult. Like right now, I've got to clear in 150 seconds one time, and 180 seconds. I got to do both. So if I can't do the 150 second clear, which is difficult for a lot of folks, especially when you push up higher, or if I can't even do the 180 clear, I might have to spend money, actual in-game currency, crystals, to get past that. Well, you don't want to spend full price. You want to wait till this is half off if you're going to do that route. So just be aware. Getting past some of these challenges requires strategy, and that's one of the things I want to start talking about and sharing. But regardless of how well your account is built, some of these characters, especially the legendaries, anyone with a plus next to it. So you see Black Swan here, Corvus and Proxima, Black Dwarf and Maw. All of these have a plus next to their name. And also Thanos and the Black Order. All of those have a plus. The difficulty level is going to go up for each one. So you have Null as a 1, 2 for Mephisto, your 3 is for Infinity Ultron, your 4 is for Gore, etc. As they go up in the number, the Roman numeral goes higher, the difficulty for that world boss does go up. So you usually start at the 1. So if there's a whole bunch of bosses here, be aware. The other thing to keep in mind is the rewards are increased for the boss of the day. So you'll see here in the top right corner, today's world boss. If I go over here for Ultimate, it's Ebony Maw. If I go over here for Legend, it's Infinity Ultron. If I don't want to play Infinity Ultron because he's not a plus, which for me, with the way my account is, I always do World Boss Legendary Pluses, I'll do this reroll. With the rerolls, you have a couple things you can do. The first thing is you can look at the chances. Like, oh, you know, what are the chances I can get the boss I want? You could just randomly reroll, see who you get. Or you can auto reset, check the boxes of who you want to play. For me, that's World Boss Legendary Pluses only. I don't recommend doing this if you are looking for one specific boss only. In the past, people were trying to clear and push individual bosses. Now you can push all your bosses even after your rewards. So what I'll do is I'll check a plus, 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 plus. I know they're pluses because I looked at the last one. If you don't know what all the pluses are, here they are. You can always double check. It's going to change as they add more. But those are the 4 World Boss Legendary Pluses. Then I'm just going to hit reset. I could spend 13 million gold here, so be aware it can cost you. 1, 2, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Keeps going. There we go. It landed on 1. Okay. I did 4 of the 10 reset possibles with that group. So it didn't cost me the whole 13 million, but I've got, 994 million gold. For me, it's not a big deal. If it is for you, maybe you just settle for whoever you get for the day. I always play the world boss, today's world boss, for the 5 clear rewards. After that is when you want to go back and push the levels if you want to play more. When you use a character on the team, right? So I have it down at 9 because there's no restrictions, but you can of course push this higher. When you use characters here, they are not available to use on any other world bosses for the day. This resets every day, so be aware if you use them here, they are removed from use. You cannot use them. Same thing when you set your ally team. If you use characters, they're unavailable for other runs. So you have to strategize and figure out who you want to use. Then there's the restriction consideration too. As soon as you get up to the next 10, now it's male. I go through 5 and then it goes up again, human, go through another 5. I said 10, I meant 5. And then there's human, superhero. So that means you are restricted on characters that you can use. It's only going to show who's available. So it'll say unavailable because it doesn't meet the restriction or because you already used them for the day. So be aware of that as you're going through. So sometimes you might need multiple teams. In some cases, you might only have 1 clear. If I max this out to as high as I can go right now, you might see stuff like right here, 50. I have to unlock this. I got to do all these challenges. Well, in order to do this, I drop back 1 level. I have to use mutants, and I might look through, and who do I have that's mutant? Well, as you see, as I go through this, I only have 1 team set up. But look at all these mutants over here. Can I use any of those characters? Yes, you can. But if you can't clear it at that level, there's no point. So you can try those characters. You can see if you can clear it. And if you're not able to clear it, you might have to go back and set up a different team. For me, I can definitely clear it with my Storm team. So I've been doing 1 clear a day. So what do you do after that if you can't clear it again? You drop down to the next group of 5. So this is universal. That's why these other teams, universal team, universal team, universal team. So I've got 4 universal teams set up so I can do 1 on the highest possible working towards that challenge unlock. And then all the rest are from the next tier down. You do want to try to push as high as possible. When you're pushing, 2 things keep in mind. Right now I'm using an emulator because I like to use a controller. If you're using your phone, you're not going to have as much lag. It's easier to clear. It's just a fact. I've never seen a single emulator. I'm using LD Player. I've not seen a single emulator that can handle the game as well as a phone can. And each phone handles it differently. So you might be struggling because of your hardware. That's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is a little secret that I learned from one of the best AB players in the game. And that is, if you are going to play, and I don't like doing this, one of the best strikers in the game, if you have him, is Ghost Rider. So go into your main damage dealer. They have to be a tier 4 to have a striker, by the way. You're going to go to skills. You're going to go to the striker skill for tier 4. So if you don't have a tier 4, this is irrelevant. But if you're tier 4, go in here and put on Ghost Rider. But there's an extra layer. There's an extra layer that some people don't know. Not only do you want to put on Ghost Rider, but you want Ghost Rider with 1 particular uniform specifically. And that is his Rage Returned. Raged Returned Ghost Rider is the best striker for world boss. There could be others that are comparable. There might be others that are worth using. Typically, tight matches are pretty decent. But the player called Neck in the game has consistently told me this, and every time I've switched, I do more damage. And I know this because I clear the world boss faster. So if you want to do yourself a favor, if you do not have Raged Returned Ghost Rider, I recommend eventually getting him for world boss alone. Now, he's a pretty decent striker in certain different areas of the game as well. He can also do some world boss clearing, especially Savage Avengers does fantastic. Raged Return and Savage Avengers are very close. Right now, he used to be meta at one time. I don't think he has a day right now in AB. He was AB meta for a long time, but he still has world boss days. He's a good character. Usually he's used as a striker. He's not the top striker anymore for AB. You're pretty much going to use him as the top striker for world boss. So keep that in mind when you're trying to get these uniforms, build these characters. Where are you going to use them? Where are they most effective? But that's a little secret, little tip for you. Just wanted to call that out. So that's the basic idea. Push as far as you can. Get your 5 clears with the world boss of the day. Play your most difficult world boss that you can. Try to get the best rewards, always clearing, always pushing, always trying to work on the next one. Look at restrictions. The last thing is your teams. When you are building up your teams, you must look at how they work together. Your middle slot is your leader slot. They even pop it right in front of your face. Put a character here to be the leader. That is going to give a leadership skill that helps your main damage dealer. Typical team buildups is lead, support, and damage dealer. You don't have to stick with that, but basically you have your lead role, which helps your main damage dealer. Your main damage dealer you stick with, and your support amplifies your damage dealer. That's your basic team buildup. However, you have some characters that are self-lead. So they might be the clear and the lead as well, so then you double support them. Or you might have it set up to where you can switch to avoid getting hit and have 2 damage dealers. They might be the lead, so you could have a lead damage dealer and a secondary damage dealer with a support, so you switch between the 2 damage dealers. Or if one dies, you have the other as a backup. That's not as valuable, in my opinion, as having the lead support or the lead double support, but you have that as an option. So you got to look at that team and craft them. You can set your damage dealer by pressing on this and then choosing the character. It gives them a little icon, so when your match starts, you start with that character, so you don't got to switch. Again, switching is usually used for avoiding dying or avoiding getting hit, or if your skills are on cooldown to heal you or whatever the case may be. It is sometimes required to switch, especially higher levels. The leadership position, like I said, they put right here. You can look down here at the bottom for what sort of bonuses are coming up. You can put certain characters together and there's extra bonuses. Having them all 6 stars gives bonuses. You can look up team bonuses based upon the character, like who works with them. Like if you have who works with Cyclops, and you can see some of the teams that can be built to kind of strategize around. Look who's available off to the side. You can sort them. You can look for characters that fit certain niches or search for them. You can look for characters who have a leadership ability and then check them out by hitting this little magnifying glass. You can now look through their skills. Here's the leadership. Here's the 2 support abilities. So everyone has 2 support abilities if they're a tier 2. So leadership and 2 support. What's their uniform ability? Because sometimes the uniform has a support as well. So you can look for the leader and then look through the character and then, how will this work on my team? And then put them there accordingly. Same thing for support. Look for characters that are support characters. You can go through here and read what that support ability is. What's their uniform? If it says self, it only applies to their self. Sometimes uniform applies to any character on the team. So again, strategizing and building up different characters is a process in and of itself. I know that's a lot of information. If you're brand new, this is super helpful. If you're a veteran player, you probably know all of this. But if you learned anything from this video at all, consider giving it a thumb up. Like it, subscribe, put some comments below. What else do you want to learn about the game? What parts are you struggling with? And I will keep that in mind for future videos. Next in this series for world bosses, I'm going to start picking each of the world bosses, and I will show strategies of playing them and some of the teams that I use and some of the things to look out for as far as attacks go. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.